What's going on, guys? We are here right now at our project in Hamilton, Mass. This is the project I like to call Grandma's house, Granny's house, because it looks like a typical old grandma's house. We have been at a little bit of a standstill the past 3 weeks. I kind of called my own stop to all the work while we figure out what we're looking to do. What ended up happening is as we were figuring out our kitchen layout and our kitchen cabinets, we noticed there was some significant sagging. We noticed it before, but we didn't realize the extent and how bad it was sagging. We needed to kind of address that issue before we took care of anything else. So what I ended up having to do was get some architectural drawings in here, get it stamped and signed off by an engineer, so that way we can make sure that we're doing everything on the up and up and everything correctly, which then is kind of cascading into a domino effect of other work that we need to do now. We now need to fix some of the HVAC in the basement because we're going to be installing a new beam. We have to redo some of these floors. It's going to be a little difficult to see on camera, but the house is kind of sinking in the middle. So we're going to get the structural beam to prevent further sagging. What that's going to cause us to do now is going to re-level and redo this entire first floor. So where we were initially thinking about keeping this hardwood, once you refinish it, it looks brand new. We're now probably getting quotes to level and redo all of this hardwood so it's all uniform. So it's unfortunate, you know, obviously it increases the budget a little bit, but sometimes, you know, these surprises happen. If you want to do things the right way, sometimes you just got to suck it up and deal with it, right? So let's go down in the basement, take a look at some of the issues that we saw that we need to address, and then we'll work our way up to see the additional changes that we're taking care of. We're down in the basement. This is the beam in question, in issue. It's not even a true LVL beam, like a structural supporting beam. What they did is they grabbed 6 pieces of wood, maybe 2 inches by 8 inches, sandwiched them together, and made pretend that this was a support beam supported by lolly columns. But this is supposed to go all the way to one end. You can see they cut it to make way for the ducts for the HVAC, and then they also cut it here to make way. So if this is structural, you're not supposed to cut into the beam. The HVAC duct is actually supposed to go underneath it. So this was kind of a bonehead way to create support, hence why it's not supporting anything and the house is sinking in that piece. So getting the calculations to be able to do this beam correctly, what's gonna end up happening is they're gonna, we're gonna get someone to install it from one end to the other. 3 structural supporting lolly columns, 1 in the left, 1 in the middle, and then 1 all the way on the right. Also, now because we're doing that, we need to get some quotes from an HVAC guy to move the ducts so that it goes underneath the beam. I'm also thinking about getting rid of this chimney here. But if I get rid of the chimney, currently the HVAC is venting out into the chimney. It goes into the chimney, out through the roof. Well, if I do that, if I get rid of this chimney, and you'll see in the kitchen why I want to get rid of the chimney. Now we need a new place for the HVAC to vent. So he's going to give us a quote for that, as well as the water heater is currently venting out from the chimney. We're going to need to figure out a new way to either vent that out or switch it to an electric water heater, right? So that is all of the things we need to assess. Oh, one more thing down in the basement. Now that we are going to be pulling a permit for the entire house, because before we were kind of just refinishing floors, redoing the bathroom cabinet. So we weren't going to pull a full permit because it's kind of quick, easy job. We're getting much more extensive, so I didn't feel comfortable doing this much structural work without a permit, right? You should never do that. So what this is causing us to do is to now have to reassess our electrical. We'll have to speak with the electrical inspector in the town to see if we are granted. Technically, you're not supposed to have this electric panel at the bottom of the stairs, but this house was built, maybe 100 years ago. So we're trying to figure out if this is going to be grandfathered in, if we can leave it here in this location and just change the breakers to the breakers that are up to code, or if he's going to require us to move it at a more code compliant location, a new panel, new breakers, and also make way, because there's no space on the panel. We're also going to be adding a central air conditioning system. There's no space, so we thought about adding a sub panel. Well, if we do a brand new panel, we'll have enough space in the panel to, the electrical ampage to be able to handle the additional load of an AC condenser unit. So that's going to increase the budget for the electrical as well. Not ideal, but things happen. Let's let's take a look at the kitchen to see what we are planning on changing / doing. Again, all of this came about when we were getting the renderings and the drawings done for our kitchen cabinets, and we realized like, hey, this sloping is becoming a much bigger issue than we initially thought. So let's get back into the kitchen. This is the chimney in question that I have decided I wanted to get rid of. It's a little bit of a process to remove the chimney, as you saw when, you know, aside from figuring out where we're gonna vent out the HVAC and the water heater, now we remove that. We got to patch the hole in the roof. Again, you can't see it, but the floor is sloping that way. So we're gonna get that structural beam. It won't bring it back up, but it will prevent further sloping. So we are trying to see if I remove this, obviously now this creates much more open space between our dining room and the kitchen, so we can add a nice island and a much more cohesive, beautiful kitchen will be in a nice layout that we'll be able to create. We're also going to see, you see this bump out here? We're trying to figure out, so this wall is a load-bearing wall, which means you can't remove it, otherwise your ceiling will cave in. So what we are trying to see, because you can see it's not continuous, it goes in and then further across. So we're trying to see, if, instead of removing this, if we just invert it, meaning instead of it sticking out into the kitchen, if we had it stick out into this room, because this room, you know, there's enough space in this room to spare, right? You got your downstairs bathroom, and then this is like additional living space. So we can definitely spare that space in this room versus the kitchen. You know, the kitchen, dining room area, right? Kitchens and bathrooms are what sell houses. So again here, right? Our fridge is gonna go there. Sink, dishwasher probably on the left, and then you have your stove. That's a door that leads down into the basement. I think I already spoke about having to re-level and redo all the hardwood floors when initially we were thinking about refinishing them, but it is what it is. One other thing that we are contending with is our upstairs bathroom. You can see we already have done, you know, a bunch of the demolition. We have, you know, this used to be a bunch of wood panels. We got new drywall. This bathroom, it's not ideal to have a step up into your bathroom, but whoever did the addition on this house previously did some wonky things, so we're kind of dealing with what we're given here. I'm not sure if you can see it, but also because of the, you know, the sinking downstairs, it's also causing sinking. So our floor, instead of it being flat, it's kind of slanted this way. So we're probably gonna end up just gutting this entire bathroom and leveling the floor and redoing everything, right? We're gonna have the toilet here, the tub in the back with some nice tile shower, and then pretty much right now behind me is where your vanity is going to go. Other than that, we have our master bedroom. So we were able to move this door frame. Before, the door frame used to be here. It used to be like an angle. So it's funny because the corner of this bathroom used to be at an angle, which is why you weren't able to fit a tub. So what I did is I had them square it off and move the door frame over. So now we can fit the tub in that back wall, and you can just walk straight into the master bedroom instead of having to go a little bit of an angle in here to walk through your door frame. Still a little bit in the rough stage. Once we get this all figured out, I think we'll be good. I mean, obviously there's gonna be several change orders on the agenda for me, right? Increase in budget. Some of the things, you know, you can't plan for everything, but you try to, and we'll let you know how it goes. You know, we are meeting with some HVAC guys next week to get prices on that. We're getting prices, I already had to pay right around $5,000 to get the architectural drawings and stamped by the engineer, pay someone to redo the beam, pay the plumber to reroute the venting of the water heater. We already got some pricing on, you know, new flooring throughout this entire level. The good thing about it is new flooring for this entire level. Oh, we're gonna have to, you know, figure out what it's gonna cost to level this floor as well. But the person who's gonna be redoing all the hardwood on this entire level, it's gonna include stair treads and then also that hallway in the second floor that we were just at. So quite a bit of an increase in the budget, but what are you gonna do? If you guys have any questions or you wanna see what the final product is looking like once we are done, keep following along, and we'll see you guys in the next one.